Let's build Kefka Court Mage from the Final Fantasy set. Kefka really likes to make people discard and then draw a lot of cards when people discard their stuff. So we're going to be building a Reanimator deck to try to take advantage of the stuff that we discard and try to draw a lot of Reanimator spells to target our stuff with. Let's start with a way to fill our graveyard up other than Kefka. We can start with a couple of wheel effects like Brass's Tunnel Grinder to wheel ourselves and Windfall to wheel everybody else. Let's go over a couple of value pieces like Collector's Vault, Key to the City, and Bitter Triumph for removal, unblockability, and card draw. Collector's Vault also has the benefit of ramp. We can put in our typical Mesmeric Orb for everybody to mill, including ourselves, on untap, and put in Nuclear Fallout to cover one of our board wipe slots while milling everybody, including ourselves. Now that we have our graveyard filled up, let's go over some ways to reanimate stuff that we get into the graveyard. We can use plenty of single target reanimations such as your typical Animate Dead and Reanimate. We can use cards like Rise from Grave, Rakdos Joins Up, Zombify, Cruelty of Gix on the last mode, Will of the Abzan, and Live or Die to reanimate stuff. Live or Die specifically doing it at instant speed. We can also use a creature, Felden of the Third Path, to get copies of things with haste and then sacrifice them at the end step. Or do some mass reanimation like Rise of the Dark Realms, Living Death, and the backside of Sheoldred to get Rise of the Dark Realms as the final step to her saga. A couple of board wipe based reanimators are Mutinous Massacre and Too Greedily Too Deep. If you use Too Greedily Too Deep to target a creature big enough, it kills everything else on board. If you use Mutinous Massacre to wipe the board, it can kill everything of value and give them to you, and give them haste. One of my favorite tricks is to target Prince of Thralls with Too Greedily Too Deep, so I deal 7 damage to everything, and anything they don't pay life for, you gain control of. Now that our graveyard is full, and we want stuff to leave the graveyard, let's put in some value pieces like Turgid, God of Fright, and Sir Conrad the Grim. Turgid is going to give you control of everything to discard, and Sir Conrad is going to trigger when anything enters anyone's graveyard, or when cards leave yours. Obviously, let's throw in another way to win, because sometimes you just can't attack. So, we're going to put in creatures like Flare of the Hatebound and Terror of the Peaks. For when we mass reanimate, it'll trigger both of these guys for a lot of damage, anywhere you want to put it. Now that we have our graveyard filled up, our strategy set up, and an alternate win condition, let's look at some targets to reanimate. Really, you can put in any kind of big bombs and Grixis in this slot. We can throw in Eldrazi like Sire of Seven Deaths, and Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger if you want. Large demons such as Valgavoth, Terror Eater, Rakdos, Patron of Chaos, Obnixilis Unshackled, Carder, Doom Scourge to goad everybody, and Arden the Usurper to give all the demons lifelink, menace, and haste, and he also picks another target and makes it a demon. We can throw in some heavy-hitting 7-drops like Jin-Gitaxia's Progress Tyrant, Thieving Amalgam, and Nezahal Primal Tide to draw cards, steal cards, and counter a bunch of spells, or even copy our own reanimation spells. We even have Saga creatures that give us value on enter, like Summon Primal Odin and Summon Bahamut. We can throw in some drainers like Vein Ripper and Massacre Worm to kill off all the small creatures and gain some life off of it. We can get some value when Trumpeting Carnosaur enters, possibly running into another animate spell, or get some value when Kyrie the Swirling Sky leaves, milling 6 cards and putting up to 2 of our reanimate spells back into our hand. And you can really finish the game with a mass reanimate spell as long as Grey Merchant of Asphodel is in your graveyard, draining everybody for a large amount of life based on your Black Devotion. The star card of the deck, I believe, is Prince of Thralls. I often call this my secret commander, because you can use Demonic Council to search him up, use Kefka to discard him, and throw down any animate spell to get him back, especially Too Greedily Too Deep. Let me know in the comments what you think of this video and any kind of suggestions that you would have for this deck. And thank you for watching.